I'd seen many bees, as they were called in those days. We had barn-raising bees and house-raising bees, where neighbors and friends pitched in to help a newly married couple build a house or barn. And we had corn-husking bees, where friends and neighbors helped harvest corn, and any fellow who found a red ear of corn got to kiss the girl of his choice. We had a church-raising bee when the community church was built, but I'd never seen one like the academy-raising bee. It began on Wednesday morning. All the kids in town were on hand to watch after doing their morning chores. Mr. Jameson, the town's best carpenter and contractor, was bossing the job. Men were digging the trench for the foundation when we arrived. Women were spreading 2 picnic tables with baked beans, baked ham, fried chicken, bread and butter sandwiches, pies, cakes, and other good things to eat. Some Mormon women arrived with lemonade, cider, and cold milk in crocks. Mr. Daniels, the proprietor of the Fair Play Saloon, delivered a keg of beer, and so did Mr. Harper of the White Horse Saloon. By noon, the trench for the foundation of the building had been dug, and some of the wooden forms for the concrete completed. The men working stopped to eat and drink, but only their wives and children could remain and eat after the men did. We had to go home for lunch. Just before we left, wagon loads of gravel and cement began to arrive. Papa told us during lunch that he would be working on the academy during the afternoon. "Mr. Jameson has decided to use 2 crews," he said, "one in the morning and a different one in the afternoon, because so many men volunteered to help." The advocate office wasn't the only place of business that had a sign reading, "Closed at noon, working on the academy," that afternoon. I saw the same sign on several places of business. Mr. Jameson was ready to start pouring concrete for the foundation when we arrived. Papa and Danny's father, Mr. Forrester, were given long sticks that Mr. Jameson called puddlers. Frankie pointed at Papa. "Why is Papa pushing the stick up and down in the concrete?" he asked. "To get the air out of the concrete so there won't be any air bubbles," Tom said, "and to help settle the concrete." There was food for the afternoon crew, too, and 2 more kegs of beer arrived from the saloons. That was one afternoon when not one kid in town went swimming. We watched until the last wheelbarrow of concrete had been poured for the foundation. Papa told us during supper that it would take all night and all the next day and night for the concrete to cure. Frankie looked at him. "Is the concrete sick?" he asked. "No," Papa said, laughing. "To cure concrete means to wait for it to dry and harden." The next morning, Mr. Jameson was using only men with saws. They cut 2x4s into studs, joists, and rafters until noon. There was nothing more that could be done on the academy until the next morning, when the forms on the concrete foundation could be removed. We watched the men begin building the frame for the academy the next morning, but went swimming that afternoon. Fellows like Parley, Sammy, and Seth were very happy for the opportunity to get a 7th and 8th grade education, but it sure as heck made a few kids unhappy. Take a fellow like Danny Forrester. "I'm going to be a barber like my father," he told us at the swimming hole that afternoon. "My folks think I ought to get an education now that there's an academy right here in Aidenville. But who needs more than a 6th grade education to learn how to give shaves and haircuts?" Even Tom, with his great brain, couldn't answer that one. I know it sounds silly, but I felt both happy and sad about the academy. I was sad knowing Tom would blackmail and swindle me every chance he got, instead of being at the academy in Salt Lake City. I was unhappy knowing he had not really reformed, and that sooner or later he would be caught swindling somebody who would tell. That would not only break Papa's and Mama's hearts, but also revoke his suspended sentence, and none of the fellows would have anything to do with him. I was happy knowing fellows like Parley, Seth, and Sammy would have a chance to make something of themselves. And I guess I was happy knowing Tom would remain at home, because, with all his faults, I loved him.